How's it, Bills fans? Lance Nelson here, president of Built in Buffalo. To my left, Scott Caston, and to my right, Benjamin Shoop. The Bills won the first playoff game on the road since 1993 and are heading to the divisional round for a mile-high melee, as per Scott Caston. What's up, Shoop?
Oh, nothing much. One down, three to go. It's each week gets more and more nerve wracking. Each week gets more and more just. Yesterday was Wednesday, and I was like, "Wow, this week's going by so slow." It's just got to be Saturday by now. But we'll see how they do. Short week. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a low scoring game. But excited for Saturday.
Yeah, one of the three of us was alive in 1993, and I'll let you guess which one it was.
Game has gray hair here, and the rest of us don't.
The game was awesome on Sunday. It wouldn't be a Bills playoff game without giving you heart issues. But yeah, like Ben said, 1 down, 3 to go. Going to face the 1 seed on the road this weekend, or as some in Broncos Twitter are calling it, David versus Goliath, except them somehow as David with the bye, and the home team is David. So that's definitely an interesting narrative. But yeah, fired up to talk about Saturday football this week.
Absolutely. And I am equally as excited. We had a great Sunday over at the Big Tree Inn. We'll be back there Saturday at the Big Tree Inn to watch the game at 4:30. So if you're around, come on down. They have this Murph sauce for wings at the Big Tree. That's phenomenal. I recommend it if you haven't tried it yet. Tonight's actually wing night at the Big Tree. So if you're still hungry and watching this, go over to the Big Tree and get yourself some wings tonight over that road next to the stadium. Let's get right into some quick thoughts here, reacting to the Jags game. Scott, give some thoughts on Josh Allen being an alien out there and just his performance, I guess, on Sunday and what it meant to the team and why that means he's the MVP.
Yeah, Josh was awesome on Sunday. He's not the MVP, but he's our MVP. No, Josh was awesome on Sunday. That throw he made to Cooks on the last drive of the game, he's maybe the only person in the history of the world that can make that throw. Free rusher in his face. He throws it before the safety even breaks on the ball. So he's just trusting that what he's seen the Jaguars do on film out of that Palms quarters coverage look is what they're going to do. And he throws it basically blindly as he's about to take a shot. Not even off his back foot, off no feet, really. Just a flick of the wrist, 45 yards right on the money to put the Bills into range to go score. So he was phenomenal, playing with 3 or maybe 4 injuries, still running at the end of the game. The tush put, like, with how beat up he was, you wouldn't have blamed him if he's like, hey, let's not tush push on every single 3rd and 4th and 1 here. Like, I'm getting my ass beat. But no, he did it anyway, and then he went along for a nice little 11-yard ride. But no, he was great. He definitely, you could tell he wasn't 100% when he ran and tried to escape the pocket, but that's to be expected. But he beat the Jaguars with his brain more than anything else, and that's something that a lot of people didn't necessarily know Josh Allen had in his bag until the last couple of years. So to see how he's developed from a thrower to a passer and now into a full-on quarterback and reading the defense and knowing what's going to happen before it happens has been awesome. And I said this last week, and I'll say it again this week. Yeah, the Bills are going on the road. They got a tough run. But when you have the best player in the tournament, anything's possible.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add from what Scott said. Pretty much nailed it there. But yeah, it's unbelievable watching just a guy fight through the amount of injuries and just what he has compared to other teams as well. Even just his weapons, and you lose 2 receivers during the game. Well, one of them you lose during the game, the other one you lose the next day. But yeah, it's unbelievable. And, just when you think that you can't be more impressed, you are. And hopefully then he can heal up as much as he can before this Saturday. Obviously it won't be perfect, but yeah, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, didn't necessarily break a lot of long runs, but, took his spots when he needed to and got enough with his legs there. I think like Scott mentioned, the most impressive part was making sure the defense was ready. Getting the ball out before the defense gets there is always the thing I'm most worried about with Josh because he loves to hold the ball, obviously. So I think he did a really good job of getting the ball out on time to some people. Still, I think there was the one where they kind of play action the RB on the stretch to the outside and then throw it to him in the flat anyway. And I think he held it just a touch long there before he got it to him. And that play is just tough for him because he just doesn't seem to want to get rid of it really quickly. But overall, just obviously a great performance. And the most important thing is, like I said at the beginning, first road playoff win since '93. So that was really the big goal, and that's what happened. So let's show our old friend 27 Trey White some love here. Ben, start first a little bit on what you saw from Trey and how much fun is it to see him coming back and obviously part of that core drafted in 2017 to still be able to contribute in the playoffs at that level at this point of his career.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to even like last year for him in a little bit. Now, he didn't start the season as bad with the Bills as he did last season, but the end of the year, he really made a push with the Ravens to show, hey, I still got some juice left. And now he's doing it again towards the end of the year here with the Bills, saying, hey, I'm here to play. And he's been doing it the past few weeks, and he's only gotten better as the season has gone on. And it's really awesome, just especially because when he did originally leave, you knew as Bills fans, yeah, it was time, but at the same time, it hurt a lot of Bills fans because Trey White was around in the beginning of the turnaround. He is just a phenomenal guy on and off the field. And so for him to be able to come back and just the whole, even in Hard Knocks when he was saying that this is his home, this is nowhere else he wants to be. It's just awesome to see his story, and hopefully we can add a Super Bowl to his story, and hopefully he can continued to be a key contributor to the team.
Yeah, you mentioned him being a part of the turnaround. He was the first draft pick of the Sean McDermott era. So he kind of was the start, just like Hereford. He was the start of the turnaround. The first draft pick, he's been through pretty much everything with this team, minus last year, like you mentioned. But last year with the Ravens, yeah, he played better, but like you didn't love when he was on the field. Like living in Baltimore, talking to a lot of Ravens fans, like didn't love when he was on the field. But he's been incredible. Like you could argue down the stretch of the season. I know Benford has the flashy stats, but you could argue that Trey White's been our best cornerback since Thanksgiving. It was awesome to watch him fly around on Sunday. It looked like old Trey. He had two where he almost picked it. The one on the flat to Strange where he disguised his coverage, then broke on the ball. And I love him high stepping around after every play he makes. When he broke up that pass to BTJ on the game sealing pick, he was celebrating before Bishop even caught the ball. Like he's a very emotional guy, and you can tell how much it means to him, and you can tell how much he wants to succeed, not just for himself, but for the teammates and for the city of Buffalo. Because like you said, Ben, he does consider this his home. So I want to bring him back again next year, like with question marks that Max Harrison, you assume with a full offseason, he'll be fine. But I think Trey White as a cornerback 3 next season would be awesome. And you would think he'd be okay coming back for a cheap deal, just for all the reasons we mentioned. But he's been awesome, and I don't see any reason for it to slow down.
Yeah, good question from Roy here. Scott, do you have a feeling on maybe who White will cover? I don't know that they're going to shadow anyone with their guys. Like I think like if you have to match them up with someone, maybe Sutton, but because Franklin's maybe a little bit faster, right? So I don't know if you want him on there, but either way, I think it's just they're going to play sides. They don't play the man usually, so it's not really going to be sort of that sort of matchup like you hear all the talk about Surtain shadowing someone. Certain defenses do that. The Bills don't typically have anyone follow a certain man in this defense. But I agree, Scott. If Trey can, what'd you say?
I would say bigger question: who's Surtain going to cover? We don't have anybody worth putting him on.
Kincaid.
Right. We'll get to that. We'll get to that during the offensive preview here. I think Trey White could come back, like you said. That's a good point, and I would love would love him to come back because you're going to probably draft. Maybe you can draft another corner later in the draft, but you're not going to spend another premium pick on a corner. You think at this point they have done that already with Max. So how many premium picks are you really going to spend on one position? But I know, that seems to be McDermott's favorite position to try to spend those on. So we'll see. I think you just really have to spend more premium assets on top end receivers this year or offensive guys, but we'll get into the draft show another time. But Trey White was great. Seeing him around the ball so much, like you mentioned the specific plays, but just seeing him around the ball on seemingly every ball that went his direction was awesome. So I remember pulling out his jersey. I think I packed it away in some box and I had to go dig it out this season when he got signed, and I was very excited about that. So super special dude to the community, and glad that he's back and making a positive impact on the field, because we know he does off the field as well. Quick thoughts, I guess, from the Jags game. What do they need? What do the Bills need to improve on this week against the Broncos that they sort of faltered with against the Jaguars? Scott, you want to lead the discussion on this one?
Yeah, we're going to talk a bit more on the offensive preview as well, but just the run game. This team isn't built to win the way they did on Sunday, and they did. Like they couldn't get any movement on the offensive line when they were running the ball. It felt like every time.
Scott
might have lost
him again.
Am I back?
Well, yeah, you're back, but you can't see your.
Oh, there you go.
Good.
Well, if you can't see my face, that might be a good thing. But no, just the run game. Like they couldn't get any movement going, and you wonder if some of that was predictability. I saw some stats that, and again, they had to abandon the run game early, so this is a little bit skewed. But when Kincaid was on the field, I think it was 24 plays, and 22 of them were runs, and 22 of them were passes. When Cooks was on the field, they were almost all passes as well, and they never once ran to his side. So you wonder if there was some predictability there, like, hey, at this position, if this, if this grouping is out there, the Jaguars already knew where the ball was going. So that could be a part of it. But for a team that prides itself on running the ball and having a tough O-line, and yeah, the Jags have a good D-line, but it's not that good. It's not James Cook completely bottled up good. It's not our Pro Bowl quality linemen not getting any movement good. So they're going to have to get that going against the Broncos, who have the second best rush defense in the NFL. The Jaguars were first, but they are a lot smaller. Saw that stat going around this week. The Bills O-line dwarfs the Broncos D-line, and you saw last year in the divisional round what they were able to do with them. So hopefully they can get the run game going and maybe a little less predictability out of personnel groupings from Joe Brady.
Yeah. So Scott mentioned, the Bills had to run the ball better. They also have to stop the run better. Now, the Jaguars could have probably, won this game if they would have stuck with the run a little bit more than they did and ran the ball more, because what did they average? 6.7 yards per carry between the two running backs. And Tank Bigsby had one huge drive where it just big run right down the field. And now Denver might not have as good of a running game, but at the same time, if it works for them and they get McLaughlin or I'm blanking on the rookie right now that I can't think of for some reason, Harvey, if Harvey, if they can, either one of them can get going, I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Payton sticks to the run if it's a close game. Now, if it's not a close game and they need to fight back and the Bills are up by 10 plus, then I could see Sean Payton straying away from the run. But I just think that you really have to just make sure that you stop the run against this Denver team and force Bo Nix to beat you. It's pretty simple for me in that scenario, and just don't let them beat you on the ground.
Yeah, I think whether they run it or just get the running backs involved in some facet of the game, I think you have to understand. Everyone's saying, oh, we don't have the receivers, this and that. Like, we lost Gabe and Shavers. Like, they weren't the top end receivers on this roster, but I get that their role was important. So the fact that I know we're thin, one more injury, and then you have a lot less options. But if that's the case, then use the guys in the backfield, because James Cook's one of your best offensive players, or, best offensive player with the ball in his hands, right? So like, get him the ball, swing pass, wheel routes, angle routes, however you can get him out of the backfield and get him the ball. He does drop a few here and there, but I think he can at least, try. You have to give him the opportunities. I can't imagine. I was surprised to see, as much Ray Davis and Frank Gore Jr. as we did see. And it wasn't an overwhelming amount, but it was more than I thought they would use them. I thought James Cook just should get the opportunity. We talked about it based upon him being re-signed, and he wasn't on the field for the last drive of the AFC Championship game last year. And it's like, he's got to get these opportunities in big games. We can't have this guy being paid now, being re-signed and being paid not on the field in big moments. So I want to see Cook, get fed, and it's not just handing in the ball. Like, get him involved in the offense in many different ways. And I don't see a way around it this week. You have to try to get those matchups on the outside with him, and also Ray Davis, right? Because he's an all-pro kickoff returner. And what does that mean? He's good with the ball in his hands and space to run. So can you get him on a swing pass, get him in open field, get him space to run? Seems like it would be something that would be successful for the Bills. So whether they run it better or they just use the running backs better in the offense overall, if you want to open up these wide receivers, sit there and throw some checkdowns to your running backs here and there, and then hopefully things creep up and you can try to take a shot to Cooks or somebody, even Shakir. And obviously Kincaid's had the propensity to get downfield at the tight end position as well. So just try to get these guys creeping up as best you can, and then hit them over the top at that point. So I do think the running backs as a whole have to be utilized, whether it's running the football or in the passing game, better this week than they were last.
Yeah, I have two kind of like follow-ups to that. I think I saw the Broncos have given up 6 receiving touchdowns to running backs this season. May not sound like a lot, but it is towards the top of the league. And Ray Davis seemed to kind of take that Ty Johnson role on Sunday of the third down back. Cook still played 60% of the snaps, which is right around his average. But Ray Davis was out there for 20 snaps and didn't get one touch. So another thing with predictability, like they do that a few times. The Jags are figuring out, hey, this guy's in here to block. He's out here to run a dummy route. Like, they're not going to give him the ball. So Frank Gore was out there for 4 snaps, and they threw it to him once. Like, he got one touch. So if Ty can't go this week, which hopefully he will be able to, when Ray Davis is out there, you got to keep him honest. Like, give him the ball or throw it to him or do something. Because like you mentioned, he's good with the ball in space. We've seen that. So have to get Cook going. But it kind of felt like they're like, all right, Cook's not on the field. Like, you don't have to worry about the run game here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, 7-1 sticker of the week this week. We're going to give it to the entire offensive line. Obviously, Cybo got all the flowers for carrying Josh Allen on the tush push that got him down to the 1-yard line and ultimately set up the game-winning touchdown. But this entire offensive line had to do the job out there, and they were impressive again. And they're going to have to impose their will on the Denver Broncos this week. So we're giving the entire offensive line the 7-1 slicker of the week. Scott, what did you think of that offensive line performance?
It was pretty good in the passing game. Josh seemed to have time. They're not great in the run game, but that tush push at the end was something that the Eagles would even dream of doing, who are the tush push inventors. That they took Josh Allen for a 10-yard ride and pretty much won the game for him. And shout out to everybody who was in there. Shavers doing it on a torn ACL, Gilliam in there, Knox as well. So even though they weren't great run blocking the whole game, when they needed to, they got the push they needed.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing, like I said, just if they can improve on the run blocking this week, that'd be even better. But yeah, still overall solid performance for them this past week.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the injury report here. Another laundry list. I don't know if we need to read them all. Josh Allen, good to go. 2 full practices. Terrell Bernard, limited all week. Questionable for this game. AJ Epinesa, limited all week with a neck. Max Hairston ankle did not practice any days and is out for this game. DeMar Hamlin coming back off IR with a pec has been full all week and is questionable. Ty Johnson did not practice up until today. He was limited, so questionable. That's one big one to watch in my eyes. Dalton Kincaid limited all week with his knee and calf. Matt Milano limited all week. Those two carry no injury designation going into the game, so they're going to go. Ed Oliver off IR, opened the practice window with his bicep, limited all week and is questionable. Jordan Poyer has a hamstring, still did not practice all week and is out. That's another big blow for the defense. And then Greg Rousseau, Matt Prater, both limited today, but don't have any designations. Curtis Samuel off of IR, full all week and is questionable. And then Shaq Thompson popped up with a neck on Wednesday and Thursday, limited, but no game designation. So he's poised to go again. Guys, let's just run through a couple things. Max and Poyer are obviously out. So what does that mean for the secondary? Who starts at safety? What do you think on that, Ben?
I see. I keep going back and forth on who I think will start. I think it will be between Hancock or Cam Lewis. I know Hancock, didn't really have the best game this past week, but I think it's between those two. I'm going to say that they'll probably go to Cam this week, just because they of what happened last week to Hancock and not playing the best. So, maybe in certain packages you could see them both on the field and both interchanging there. But I don't think you'll see much of Hamlin unless it's special teams. Now, there could be a chance that he starts. There could be a chance
for a fake punt.
Maybe for a fake punt. But I just think that as much as Hamlin is trusted and loved in this organization by these coaches and the staff, I think that they do also understand that Cam will probably give you a better chance to win. Hancock, that's the question, that maybe if they're deciding between those two, it could be Hamlin, but I still think that they would probably go with the younger Hancock just to get him more experience, as well as he started last week. So why would you switch it up if at the end of the day it worked?
I think that Cam Lewis will start at safety. I do think DeMar is going to play. I think they're going to activate him. I think they're going to activate Samuel. And then if by some – first of all, it's a miracle that now that we need a receiver, Curtis Samuel's season-ending injury has healed. So when God closes the door, he opens a window. That's what
all glory to God, baby.
Yeah, it really is. Who would have thought that the timing would work out like this? But I think we got two open roster spots. I think Hamlin, and also another miracle that DeMar Hamlin's very serious injury happened to heal now that we need a safety. So just good things all around. But yeah, I think those two take the spots. I would like to see Cam Lewis start. Hancock looks pretty lost out there, to be honest with you. And I guess a lot of people go to college for 7 years. I guess the rationale behind it was that they like Cam in that dime corner role so much, and he's really good at it. But I think Hancock's a lot more comfortable there than he's shown that he was at safety on Sunday. Cam, I've said this about him all season. He's not the best player in the world, but he's going to be in the right spot. And Hancock, a lot of times on Sunday, was not in the right spot. So you'll live with him not making the play, but being in the right position. So I think Cam will start. I also think we'll see Hancock, like you mentioned, Ben. I think we might even see DeMar run some snaps because that's a guy who will at least attempt to be in the right spot. He may not get himself there in time, but he'll at least try his best. So I think we're going to see a combination of the three of them. But what a crazy world we're living in that Jordan Poyer pulling his hamstring completely derailed the defense on Sunday. But we're out of old guys to call. I don't think Micah Hyde has one more game left in him. So going to see a combination of all three, but I would like to see Cam Lewis out there the most.
Yeah, I had a feeling that when I talked to Jordan Poyer this summer that we were going to see him on the field, and man, he kind of blew my expectations out of the water for sure. And the one thing he had right was that Cole Bishop was going to progress and be okay here. So, shout out to Poyer for taking some time with us earlier this summer and getting that right. But my biggest thing is I wanted to just comment on the Ed Oliver thing. I'm just not sure they're going to put him out there this week. I really think it'd be pretty amazing to see him get snaps out there. But, stranger things have happened, I guess. And if they really feel like he can help them, then maybe. But I'm not sure taking up a roster spot for the 10 to 20 snaps that he's probably going to be able to go. I just don't see him. I don't think he's going to be able to play more than that if he does. And is it worth it for a roster spot? I'm not sure. So I really don't know on the Oliver thing. It's exciting. It's great. I mean, good for him for even having a chance this week. But I think it's just kind of that way. So did you have anything more on injuries, Ben? Did you already go? Good.
No, I'm good.
All right. Shout out to our sponsors here, Big Tree Inn. Every game day is a built-in Buffalo day at the Big Tree Inn. And Wingnuts Buffalo, shout out to our partners there at Wingnuts, John and Quan, at the Wingnuts Buffalo location on Genesee Street. Get over there. They have a great open spot in the bar area. Then they also have a room 40 there where they have nice private events, and the dining room is nice and cozy as well to get some good chicken wings there. 71 Slicks on Broadway in Depew. Check them out on the Cut app and book your cut today. Lancaster Indoor Bounce House. The fun never stops there. You have bounce houses. You have a little arcade there, the Safari Arcade. Great, clean fun over at the Lancaster Indoor Bounce House. All right, now it's time for something I'm pretty excited for. I met this woman, Jill, at a blood drive that I randomly popped up at in Lancaster here, and we're going to bring her on. Let's get this configured right. Hey, Jill, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you doing?
Doing all right. So Jill runs the Jilly Bean Blood Drive. That's in partnership with Connect Life, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes. So I went down there. She literally parks this bus outside of her house and was very hospitable to let folks use her home as they need to. But tell us a story of how you sort of started the Jilly Bean Blood Drive, and just a little progress update, and how your sister's doing and all that stuff.
Yeah, so actually it kind of started off as a joke in the beginning. During the pandemic, Connect Life, about 60% of the blood that was collected was typically from high school and college students. And with the pandemic and, all the schools closing, it just wasn't a possibility at the time. And I did work for Connect Life during the pandemic. And as I said, it was a joke. I said, why not bring a bus to my house? And sure enough, it ended up becoming a real thing. And I wanted to make it into something that had true meaning. And a big reason I kind of entered into healthcare was my little sister. I say little, she's going to be 27 and married this year, but she'll always be my baby sister. She was diagnosed with leukemia in 2006, and she was 6 at the time, and I was 11. And having a front row seat through that entire process was really eye-opening, even at 11. And holding these blood drives and honoring her have meant the world to me. And, it's been about 5 years now since I started doing them. And not only do I take the time to honor my sister being cancer-free for almost 17 years now, I get to honor all the children out there that have battled cancer, are currently battling cancer, and just bringing the community together. And yes, I did bring the bus. I parked it right in front of my house. When I told my neighbors, they thought I was nuts. Which, yeah, that might have been a crazy idea, but it was so much fun. I've had the pleasure of meeting so many new people, you included, and it has grown so big now that we're actually going to have to start doing them indoors, which will not be in my dining room. It will be in the village of Lancaster.
Lance, you muted.
Oh no!
Rookie move. I didn't want to interrupt while I was drinking and stuff. So, but yeah, a nice new indoor space there that they took. I guess it was a grocery store, right? And then they kind of broke it up a little bit. So, is there going to be is it right in the hallway and stuff, or is there an actual suite in there that you'll be at?
Yeah, so it'll be right in the open space.
Nice.
There's a yoga studio there. The pizzeria is in there, and then also
the Lancaster Indoor Bounce House is there, our sponsor.
Exactly, yes. So we'll be taking up that big open space, and I'm really excited for it. It will be on Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. All right. So February 14th.
That's an Office
Everyone
episode,
get out there.
basically. If anyone watches The Office, it's literally an episode of The Office.
Blood drive on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and Michael tries to find the woman with the glove.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
Amazing. That's the episode's escaping me right now, but I'm sure
Stanley gets in trouble for going back for more cookies.
Everyone loves the cookies. Lorna Doones. I didn't know what a Lorna Doone was until I got connected with Connect Life.
It's like when you fly on airlines, the biscuits from Delta, I believe it is, right? That they give out are top notch. So yeah, cookies are definitely the driver for that. So all right, I'm gonna book my when is booking open yet, or when does booking open for slots on February 14th?
Oh yeah, booking is open. Unfortunately, the website is still in need of some technical repairs, but if people want to call Connect Life, they can set it up that way. Or on Instagram, people have been direct messaging me, and I've been taking it from there for them too. Right,
and you're at Jilly Bean Blood Drive on Instagram?
Yes, I am.
Amazing. All right, we'll drop that in the comments as well, and then if anybody wants to sign up, feel free. Jillian, you got to give us a little bit of a prediction though here outside of the blood drive. I think it's a great cause. Look, I went over there, did the double red blood cell donation, and I'm going to do the same thing again on Valentine's Day. But tell us a little bit about your thoughts on this game in Denver. You think the Bills can pull this one out?
Oof. Yes. I'm going to be so positive going into that game. I have nothing but faith in the boys, especially Josh.
Amazing. Do you have a score prediction you can give us?
Oh, boy.
Put you on the spot.
I don't want to embarrass myself here.
It's just fun. None of us get it right.
Ben
doesn't even guess half the time. He guesses like 5-2. He guesses hockey scores.
I'm going to say we get 21. Denver gets 16.
21-16 Bills. I
like it.
Amazing. Well, Jill, we appreciate your time. Thanks for popping on. We're going to do some more advertising as it gets closer. I can take this recording for you and we'll make a little reel out of it potentially here, and we'll see what you like. And then we'll make sure everyone's aware of the Jilly Bean blood drive, and we'll get some folks in the seats to give some blood there to Connect Life.
Yes, I would love that. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
All right. That was Jillian from the Jilly Bean Blood Drive, sponsored by or put on by Connect Life there in Lancaster, New York. So if you're around and you're a blood donor, please consider searching Jilly Bean Blood Drive on IG and signing up. All right. Back to the game at hand here. We're going to jump into the offensive preview. Scott, do you want to run through the offense?
Sure. I can get it started. Biggest thing I said earlier is they have to get the run game going. I don't think they're going to beat the Broncos with James Cook having, what do you have, like 33, 34 yards on Sunday. I don't think that's a recipe for success to be repeatable. So, yeah, they're going to have to get the run game going. And then we talked a little bit earlier about Patrick Surtain and how good he is. But it really is a question of, like, who is he going to cover? Because the Bills don't have that number one receiver to completely take away. He can take away a side of the field, but the Bills are going to look to do a lot with the tight ends and have to get the running game going. But yeah, my biggest thing is they're not going to beat the Broncos if we don't get James Cook cooking. So that's the one thing I'm looking for Saturday. Call myself Saturday is that we got to have a better game from James Cook, and that starts with the O-line.
Yeah. Before I get into my offense here, I do want to thank you, Bud. They are rolling 1-1, by the way. Anybody wondering, Tage Thompson just scored to make it 1-1. Unfortunately, the only game I went to this year was on Monday, and they lost. Yeah, not the greatest there.
I'll be there on Saturday, so it'll be a good time. I'm going to double duty on Saturday, taking the family. I got some club seats over there and going to take Theo and my wife, Jess, and we'll hit up the Sabres game, and then I'll speed home at a very safe rate and let them tuck and roll into the driveway and do a donut to get back out to the big tree and catch the game. So it'll be a fun time there.
Yeah, I had to wear the Ryan Miller hat in honor of the 0506 night tonight. So the 0506 team is back in the building tonight, and hopefully they can pull a win out. But onto the Bills, back to the Bills offense. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough matchup. I mean, obviously, they're top defense in the league for the Broncos. However, I do think that, yes, they can get pressure, but I do think they're a very beatable defense. I think they haven't exactly played the best quarterbacks, which Scott knows. Scott loves when I just read stuff off a list. So I got a list of all the quarterbacks they played
what a treat.
this year. So they played Trey Lance, Chris Oladukin for the Chiefs.
Oh, you know how to say his name, Oladuke. He saved Christmas. He made the game watchable.
Well, I thought it was Oladukin since O went at the end, but hey.
Oh, it might be. I don't know.
Trevor Lawrence, which they surrendered 34 points to.
He's still in the playoffs?
No, he's not. Jordan Love,
who was
in the playoffs, if you didn't know.
I thought he was.
Which they allowed 26 points to.
The show last week.
They played Geno Smith twice. One of the games Kenny Pickett came in. Marcus Mariota, which lit him up.
That guy won a Heisman.
He did win a Heisman. Mahomes, who only put up 19. Stroud / Davis Mills. They played both of them. Dak, Jackson Dart, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, Jake Browning, Daniel Jones, who put up 29 on him, Justin Herbert, Cam Ward. So a lot
Indiana
of
Jones.
Bad quarterbacks on that list, and a lot of the good, above average to good quarterbacks on that list had a pretty fairly good game and put up some points against them. Only one that might not have really was Mahomes, who had 19, which obviously is still great. But this defense is beatable. I know people don't want to, they don't want to give into that. I've seen a lot of people giving into it, saying, yeah, they're going to light them up. So I just think that, yeah, this defense is good, but I don't think I'm surprisingly more confident to score on this defense of Denver's than I was scoring on Jacksonville's, just because of the fact that I think that they'll be able to run the ball a little bit better. And Scott said they need to, so it must be the key to the game. But yeah, I just think, I agree with Scott there. They'll get the run game going and just don't turn the ball over. Do not give them free possessions here. If you turn the ball over, Bo Nix, at the end of the day, will find the end zone. He's done it a lot in the fourth quarter this year, especially late in the game. If you turn the ball over, they can get rolling.
Yeah, well, it's not to cut you off before you go. This is what I have one more thing kind of piggybacks off what Ben said, and now feels like a good time to say it. I have another list, but it's much shorter. So the Broncos defense, this is from Thad Brown on X, the Everything app, from weeks 11 to 17. So the last 6 games of the season, minus the last game where they didn't play people, their defense was 17th in EPA per run, 17th in EPA per play, 24th in EPA per run. And they faced 6 top 12 offenses in EPA this season, and 4 of them were in that 6-week window. So, yeah, their defense has been really good, but as you said, Ben, when they played teams who were towards the top of the league, their defense wasn't as good. So, hopefully that continues to trend right for the Bills. On Saturday, they were 3rd in EPA this season. So, in the list, in that range, that gave the Broncos defense trouble. So, they're really good. Beaten up on some of the lesser teams in the league. But when they played good teams, they really did struggle.
Yeah, well, that's basically what I was going to say. I was going to bring in all the EPA numbers that you mentioned mostly, but all good. That's
because I just put on the outline stats.
You said it way better than I could have. So you delivered it well. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's basically it, right? The Broncos overall for the season had some EPA numbers that were pretty impressive as a team defense, but the Bills offense also had equally impressive EPA numbers as well. So I think it's going to be strength on strength at times. And I don't think the Broncos run defense is necessarily strong. So the Bills should take advantage there. Like we've been mentioning, gotta get the run, whether it's just the run game or get, long handoffs, even if it's quick passing, whether it's in the backfield to the running backs, if they want to throw it to Shakir on everyone's favorite screenplay, anything like that, where extended handoffs can go for bigger chunk yards. That's going to be the goal here for this Bills offense. They're going to have to create some explosives either on the ground or, again, with some short passing that can get some yards after catch. I'm just going to go take the next point since we went through the EPA stuff. You mentioned Broncos are first in red zone D on the outline here. So, yeah, the Bills definitely have to score touchdowns when they get in the red zone. I think that's one of their major points for most games, but it's in the playoffs becomes even more important. I think that the Broncos are going to find some life here on offense as well, just with the Bills defense maybe not being as stout against the run as we'd like. I think they might have a little bit more success to keep drives rolling. And they do have some receivers. I saw a graphic, a couple different people posted about some Bronco fans saying the reason he didn't want to play the Bills. And he mentioned that the Broncos didn't have a receiver that they could go to. And I'm like, I don't know. I consider Cortland Sutton a pretty good receiver. I mean, Troy Franklin's been pretty good this year as well. I mean, they seem to have weapons at receiver. I don't think they have nobody, but that graphic mentioned that the Broncos didn't have anyone to throw to. But I think the teams are going to be able to score a bit, and I think they're going to need to the Bills are going to have to keep up. They're going to have to get touchdowns in the red zone and not settle for field goals. That probably can be, like I said, a lot of these things we can say for most games, but I think it just gets amplified so much more in playoff matchups like this one. Ben mentioned before the turnovers. It's turnovers and penalties. We talk about it every week. Like, we really have to make sure these false starts aren't happening on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1. All these we have to make sure that these false starts and penalties of that nature do not happen during critical situations, right? And then the turnovers are going to go without saying. You have to win the turnover battle to win playoff games. So I think that's an easy one.
Yeah, agree with you. All the things that they did last week, they won the turnover battle, they won the game. That's what we said going into it. They didn't really have a ton of, shoot yourselves in the foot penalties. They had a couple of holds, but I don't even think they killed the drive. So, yeah, play disciplined football, everything that McDermott preaches, and it seems like the Bills lock in on a little bit more in the playoffs. But the last stat I'll bring up, then if you guys have any closing comments, 18 points seems to be the magic number when playing the Broncos. They won 14 games this season, which is obviously a lot, but in 9 of those games, the opposing team scored 17 points or less. So their offense isn't exactly a juggernaut. They're solid, but they're probably not going to hang 30 on us, knock on wood. So if the Bills go out there and they take care of the football, they run the ball, they get the tight ends involved. I know they're very short at receiver. We're looking at 3 healthy guys plus Curtis Samuel coming up, and then maybe a Hardman or Wilkerson elevation to get to the 5 receivers. But Cooks, Shakir, Keon, and Samuel are all good enough to make plays in this game. If they take care of the football, they get touchdowns when they're in the red zone, they don't have too many empty possessions. If they get to the mid-20s, not even 30, this should be a game that they can win. So just play smart, take care of the football, and Josh Allen, go be Josh Allen.
Yeah, you mentioned part of the offense there with the Broncos that they're not an elite offense. They're not top tier in the league. Bud came up here and said, Bills can put up points, but the Bills defense also has to hold the Denver to less points. They're going to still have to show up and do their job just because it's the NFL. If you're going to, Scott said, probably not going to put 30 points up on the board, but if you don't show up, they easily could. And Samuel Rivera here brought up Bo Nix can't get the ball to him. Now, Bo Nix, that is one thing. He has a pretty low completion percentage, 63% completion percentage in the league this year. But he's had the most attempts out of any quarterback this season, which is very interesting that he has the most attempts, doesn't have a lot of yards, doesn't have 3,000 or even 4,000 yards, has a low completion percentage, yet has taken the least amount of sacks out of any quarterback this season. They're getting the ball out fast, but they're not doing it efficiently when it comes to completing the pass, not for a lot of yards. So this is going to be a game where they're going to have to be able to tackle. They're going to get the ball out. They're going to try to get it to these guys and just let them, get that yak, right? So they're going to get the ball out. And the Bills defense, if there's one thing they have struggled with, it has been tackling over the McDermott regime, is the consistent tackling. So that's going to be my key to the game, is make sure they wrap it up, make sure you're getting the guys to the ground, gang tackle everybody in there, just don't let them beat you by breaking tackles. So that's going to be my key to the game. Lance, what do you got?
Defensively?
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to have to be containing the run at least, to some degree. And I think RJ Harvey's at least competent, but the Bills defense has to come up with big stops. The biggest thing, we're going to talk about this every time we talk about the success of the Bills defense, right? Is getting off the field on third down. Like, you can't talk about a key to the Bills defense winning a game without saying that, because it's just happened so many times where they've gone up and given up 3rd and 8 and longer. And that's just a killer. When it's 3rd and 8 or longer, you have to get off the field. And I think with the Bills run defense improving over the last few weeks as well, I think they really need to really make sure they get off the field on the 3rd and 8 and longer situations. So the situational defense needs to be there. I guess, like I say, you could say this stuff kind of for every game, but I believe in this game, it matters the most, because it's win or go home, and you have to, make sure you're covering up or taking care of the things that have been your Achilles heel throughout the year.
Yeah, they got to make Bo Nix uncomfortable. I said the same thing last week about Trevor Lawrence, but Bo Nix even more so. He's played one playoff game in his career. That was last year against the Bills, and we all remember how that went for them. They just have to make him uncomfortable. And that starts with putting up points on offense, make him have to beat us throwing the ball. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. We mentioned he has some weapons. I think Sutton is a lower tier 1 receiver. He's a number 1 receiver, but he's on the lower end of that. Troy Franklin is a deep threat. Evan Ingram's a solid tight end, but none of those guys really make you worried. Like, it's not, oh my goodness, how are they going to cover blank? He's a solid player. Yeah, he does this well. None of them do anything crazy. The Broncos win games because of their defense, and their offense has done just enough. That's kind of been their thing the whole season. And when they play good teams, like we mentioned, and their offense doesn't do enough, it doesn't go as well for them. So make Bo uncomfortable. Get him a little bit rattled. The pass rush wasn't awesome on Sunday. Pass rush hasn't really been awesome all year, but can they manufacture some pressure with the way our secondary's playing, at least at the cornerback position? Maybe they can send a few more exotic blitzes at him. Like, get him heated up. They can cover these guys man to man, you would hope. So get him heated up. McDermott's going to have his mind in a blender with showing one coverage, then flipping to another. We saw it with Lawrence on Sunday. He would show him one thing, and then bam, they're rolling into something else. And he's throwing it where we want him to throw it, because that's where they're actually covering it. So make Bo Nix uncomfortable. Make him have to go win the game, and I don't think he's going to be able to do that.
The one other thing I want to say about the defense, or the Broncos offense, is, they're top 10 in first downs in the league. So they will try to sustain drives to help their defense as well. The problem is that because of the amount of drives that they get, they're not, super efficient on third down or anything. But they will produce first downs. They will force your defense to get tired as the game goes on. So I do think it's also going to be important. The Bills play that bend but don't break defense. You got to be able to do what the Broncos defense does so well, and that's get some stops in the red zone. So that's the last little point that that I had on defense. Did you guys have anything else about the Bills defense playing Broncos offense?
No, I think, just to piggyback off what Scott was saying on pressuring Nix, I think that we wanted to see last week more of the Rousseau, Bosa folks getting on the stat sheet. I mentioned this last week. Get on the stat sheet, get the sacks, get Lawrence on the ground, and the same goes again this week. I can't fathom that Bosa and Rousseau will not combine for 3 sacks this game. They have to combine for at least 3 sacks, and I think they do.
I actually somewhat disagree with Scott. I'm going to be honest about it needing to happen, just solely because of the fact that this Broncos team.
What I say needs to happen.
they need to get Bo uncomfortable in the pocket and get pressure on him, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I don't necessarily mean like
just
you
make him
just have to
comfortable.
put pressure on Bo Nix. Like I said last week against Trevor Lawrence, like the Bills got to get a lead. Like they just have to make. I mean, you have to make any quarterback uncomfortable. That's how you stop them. But these young ones, especially, like you can't. Like, but we can't let Bo Nix game manage his way to a win. We have to make Bo Nix make plays to go win the game. And if we make him have to do that, I don't think he's going to be able to do that. And a lot of that starts with the Bills' offense and scoring points.
Yeah, and I guess more so what I'm going to say is they've given up 23 sacks this entire season. The Broncos offense, the entire season. The only team that's tied with them is the LA Rams. I don't necessarily think you have to. I mean, obviously, yes, it will help. But I think when it comes to getting sacks, it's not necessarily a necessity this week. Now, if you can get the pressure to the quarterback, like Scott said, it's ideal. You want to make him uncomfortable. But I think you also need to make him uncomfortable by just playing coverages that throw him off. Come out in a man.
That's what I said. Do you even listen to me?
I listened to half of it because I then
okay, there you go.
Watching the Steelers,
at least I knew what
Josh
topic we were on. All right, there. At least I knew what topic.
You were the one who didn't know what topic we were on 2 minutes ago.
I think Bo Nix being a good scrambler,
yeah,
makes a
and
difference.
That's the tough part too. I think it's because of him being a good scrambler. I think it'll be tough to get him on the ground. Now, if they get 3 sacks, if those two combine for 3 or more sacks lines, I think 100% we win this game. If they can,
that's what I'm saying for absolute certainty. If they can do that, that's going to.
I did listen to him. I just brought up what he said, but he said that it must happen. I don't think it must happen. I think yes.
I'm just saying if it does happen, they're going to win like 100%. Like I don't think that there's a question if they can get 3 sacks in this game, then the Bills have a 99% chance to win, assuming the offense is competent. Like that's what I'm saying.
I think it's more important for those two to keep gap integrity, to keep their containment, and not let Bo utilize his legs. If they get 0 sacks,
Bosa was terrible at that on Sunday.
Bosa's been terrible with it the whole season, if we're being honest. But I think I would take no sacks and just containing him and making him hit the pocket, make him make the correct decision, and make him beat you by being an elite passer. I don't think that could happen. So I think if you sit him back there, yes, you want to condense the pocket, but it's more important to contain his legs, because if Bo can get his legs going, that'll open up their run game, that'll open up their play action, that'll open up even just their passing game, because now they're focusing more on his legs. So I think it's more important and yes, if they can get the sacks, perfect. But make sure they're containing him. Make sure you're not giving him that lane to just step up and take off, because he will beat you with his legs if you give him the lanes. And that would be one of the biggest reasons I could see this team. If the Bills lose, I could see it being one of the bigger reasons.
Right. Well, what I'm thinking too, I think mainly expound upon, like if Bo Nix is going to run, I'm not thinking he's going to run right up the middle. He certainly could, and there's where you need your spy the most part. But I'm thinking the contain that we didn't see last week, if he tries to run around the edge at all, we need Bosa and Rousseau to be a game-wrecking tandem, okay? We need them to affect the plays. So even if it's a designed run, and for Nix, I don't know how many of those they run necessarily, but if he's scrambling around, we got to have guys on the edge that can keep him contained and get him on the ground. And that's where I think, I'm not necessarily saying he's going to sit in the pocket and these guys are going to come in crashing in from the edges to get sacks. They haven't really done that a ton all year, so I don't know if we can expect that. It may be unrealistic, but if Bo's going to run around and try to get to the edge, then that's where these guys got to get off their blocks, keep contained, and get the guy on the ground in the backfield.
Yeah, and that's something, like I mentioned, Bosa would have had a sack and a safety on Sunday on the bullshit field goal attempt drive on the first play of that. Greg Rousseau was awesome on Sunday. He was getting pressure. He was beating his man. He had a sack. He played really well. He had a couple where if Bosa just kept the edge, he would have cleaned up and had a sack, but he tries to get inside and leaves it. Yeah, I'm not super worried about Bo Nix running for a lot of yards on the Bills. He only averages 20 yards a game. That's not what he wants to do, but if we don't keep him in the pocket, he's going to extend plays the same way Josh Allen does, the same way Mahomes does, stuff like that. So, yeah, keep him in the pocket, make him have to beat us by being a quarterback. make him have to make throws on time, in rhythm. Like when he gets outside and plays break down, that's when they get their big plays down the field. So yeah, I want to keep him in the pocket so we don't get any, off timing Josh Allen special plays.
Yeah, this is the time where, those guys that maybe only average 20 yards a game can really go off, though. So I get the point. Like these are the games where they pull out all the stops, and even though it's not something he tries to do that often in the regular season, he's going to try to do whatever he can to get the team success. The last point I'll make on this game before we move on to our game predictions. So just a forewarning, drop your game predictions in the comments. We'll show them in a few minutes here, but just lost the point that I had in my head. Sorry.
Well, that's all right. Well,
yeah.
Pressure, Bo Nix running.
Nope,
Keep in the pocket. 3 sacks win the game.
was it
Talk
about
about
Bo Nix?
defense.
Yeah, we'll move on. Oh well, it was a good point.
If it comes to you, we'll hop back on.
We'll come on. I want to ask this question though. Do you think this is McBean's last game collectively as a pairing? Should the Bills lose?
If they do lose, yeah, I think one of them's gone, and I would say that with 99.99% confidence that one of them is gone. Whether it's who it is, not a clue. Not a clue. I think that will be left up to Terry Pagula, and he'll make that decision. But I one of them will be gone if they lose this game. If they don't lose this game and they lose next week, I still think the same thing. If they lose in the Super Bowl, that's the only one that I might be able to see. It is what it will see. And if we win the Super Bowl, no, I don't think we should move on from our general manager.
Yeah, yes, is this their last game? No, we got next week. But if they lose this game, I do think there'll be a change. I don't think it should be McDermott. I think he's done an awesome job with not the best roster on paper this season. Yeah, a lot of that's Josh Allen, but the story all season was the Bills' defense wasn't great and they were a liability. Then on Sunday, minus the second half, towards the end, they were pretty dang good. And he had Trevor Lawrence in a blender, and I think he's a really good coach. So, like you said, it's up to Terry Pagula, despite what the talking heads on Twitter think. It's not up to them. So, yes, if they don't win this game, which hopefully we don't find out, but I think there will be a change made somewhere there.
I feel like this is the offseason to really have both these guys prove themselves. So I would hate to see either go at this point. I mean, I know what
9 years been.
But this is like, okay, we just had a roster turnover after letting Diggs go. And I think we get another crack at some draft picks here, and we get some more flexibility financially. So I just think that this is going to be an opportunity for them to build more weapons around Josh Allen. I really don't want to give Josh Allen the Aaron Rodgers treatment where he gets no freaking top end wide receivers. And Keon Coleman was not a top end wide receiver, never was going to be. And I said it till I was blue in the face before the draft, during the draft, after the draft. And it seems to be a fact at this point. So I don't know. I'm just saying personally, I want to see what they do with this offseason and how they can build it back up and make another run at it. But I respect both guys. I'm a big McDermott guy, so I'm obviously not going to suggest that he be gone. But I still think Brandon Beane has done. I know the biggest thing is like, oh, he just drafted Josh Allen and has ridden that through his career now, and it's like he's had some good picks. It's just half of them are 6th rounders, and people don't respect that, I guess. But it's like he's still found talent and been able to put together a team that's competing for a Super Bowl year in and year out. So it's not as bad as everyone wants to clamor. The receiver room, the way that panned out this year, didn't work very well. And I just want to see him get, a full off season here with hopefully a little more financial flexibility. There are some guys coming. They have George Pickens coming, a free agent, stuff like that. I want to see him be able to make a run at one of those guys. So,
just to bring up Cole's comment here. So because of the re-signings, you do lose what I guess would have been, but then there's a couple things that one will happen. One, the cap space will go up because of just the payroll, the max that you can have on it goes up every year. It will go up, now by how much, who knows? And there'll be guys coming off the books. They'll definitely get rid of some contracts. Like I would guess Curtis Samuel will be gone. They'll do something with Knox's contract. There's a good way that they can easily free up a lot of money. Restructures every time. But if you look around the league right now, there's a lot of teams that
team is
besides like maybe the oh my gosh, are the Rams, who are projected to have like 95 million in cap space somehow. Besides them and like the Patriots, everybody's kind of it's kind of a mess.
A lot of those.
I know I'm crazy to say like do the same thing over and over again and get different results, but I don't know, for whatever reason I just want to see this regime get one more crack at this offseason. This is the offseason where if it doesn't go right, then I'm all on board for making changes. But I just feel like giving them this offseason has been earned, honestly.
A lot of those contracts too were backloaded for when the cap's going to go up in 2028, 2029. So if you look at them, a lot of them aren't huge numbers next season.
Yeah, I think Cooks is like $4 million next year.
Yeah.
It's real low.
They're smart with how they do it.
Yeah.
It's future us's problem. We'll never
see that's the thing I will say. Like, yes, Bean is messed up. McDermott's had his errors, but that is the one thing that he does well is his contracts, even his bad contracts, are easy to get out of, or they're really not massive overpays. And the only one that really might have been a massive overpay is Knox, but I think that was also at the time. It was before Kincaid got here. A lot of things had changed. So that's the one thing. It's a lot of them are easy to get out of, and a lot of them are really not that bad because even Curtis Samuels, they'll get rid of him, and his major money was going to be towards the end of the deal. They are always geared towards being a beneficial for the team. And that's another reason why it's sometimes, yes, Bean's had his mistakes, but man, it's tough to get a GM that doesn't have one fault at least. And a lot of them do struggle, especially with contracts. I mean, you've seen around the league, teams get screwed by contracts.
No man is without fault, I always say. Anyways, game predictions. I did remember my point, and I'm just going to stay with my game prediction. I'm going Bills 33, Denver 27, Bills win. But I think the second half of this game is going to be something to watch. These both teams really, you saw Denver scored like 33 points on the Giants in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, the fourth quarter alone, the whole second half to me is going to be very interesting. What do you guys think about, both teams sort of excelling in the second half, and then give a game prediction as well?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's playoff football as well. It will be the second half is going to just ramp up, and it's going to be one of those games where it's going to come down to the wire. Score prediction, as you guys know, I don't really love score predictions just because, especially in the playoffs at least, just because I feel like if I predict the Bills to win, it's going to be a drink somehow. So, but I'll give us. I did a tie last time, so I can't do a tie again. I'll do
there are no rules here.
51-3.
How would it be a tie?
51-3. Whoever wins is up to you guys. I'm leaving that up to the viewer. And Cole, I do just want to say, from what I've heard, I'm not sure if the whole Waddle thing is 100% true. Now, I do know that they were interested, but as far as from what I've heard, it sounds like Miami was really never likely to deal him to Buffalo, no matter what. And they were just, pulling the strings.
Stephen A. Smith said very differently today.
I forgot. Expert Stephen A. Smith. I forgot about that. But, so I just want to say that as well. From what I've heard from inner workings, I'm not so sure that even if they offered him 3 first-round picks, they probably would have at that point. But if they would have moved on from Waddle, even if they were giving up what they reportedly wanted.
My prediction, so I've gone back and forth on it all week, but I had to come down to. I've seen Bo Nix play football 3 times.
The time is now.
Time is now. I've seen Bo Nix play football 3 times on 3 different teams in 3 different stadiums, and he's lost all 3 of those. So I'm hoping that trend continues, and I'm taking the Bills, and I'm going to say the Bills win 27-20.
It's unanimous. Everyone took the Bills. Bills 51-3 for Ben. Bills 33-27 for me, and then Bills 27. What was it? I got so excited that you took the
No one
Bills.
listens to me. 27-20.
20.
And hey, you said no one
for
gets it
Scott,
right.
so
That guy in my pregame video
Before we hop off,
got it right on
that's
Saturday,
right.
on Sunday.
I got the Raiders game right like 3 years ago. It was awesome.
Before we hop off, I do want to actually. It's something I've talked about. We've talked about a lot actually as well. We've talked about it at tailgates a couple times. Sandra brings it up here. If you win the coin toss, take it and score instead of deferring. Yes, no. See, for some games I've said yes, take the ball and score right away. This
I
is
wanted
a
to
game.
do that last week.
Yeah, this week defer because it's really for me. You're gonna take the coin toss and score and go score right away if you're afraid that your defense needs it to play with a lead. So Denver's offense does not scare me enough where I feel like they need to play with a lead. So I'm saying defer it. So I just want to bring that up. Didn't know if you guys had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I always like deferring myself. I agree though. I mean, the Bills team is built to play with the lead, so I would love to get the lead early and keep it for the entire game if they can doing that. But I don't have the numbers on me right now, but the Bills did have a pretty good percentage of first drive scores this season. So they were over 50% at least where they were able to score on their first possession, normally a scripted drive, right? So I think that if they have a good script in mind and they want to go out there and take it, then I think that's going to be on them, and I'll cheer for it, but I don't know. I'd rather just play for the halftime double dip, score stop score type of deal, and go there.
Yeah, the analytics say to defer. I just thought about this, and I wonder if that may change going forward. Because with the new kickoff rules and touchbacks being at the 35, this happened to the Bills on Sunday. They won the toss, they deferred. The Jags got the ball first. They got them 3 and out, but then the punt pinned them at like the 4 or the 5. With how good of field positioning you get off the rip, and how even if you go 3 and out, you can pin the other team back. And kind of like you could be playing like field position catch up the whole half. I wonder if that's going to start changing. Maybe I'll need to see what the analytics say for this full season. But yeah, against the Broncos again, their offense doesn't terrify me. They're going to rip down the field and be up 7-0 before we're even in our seats. So I would defer, but I wonder if that's going to change with the field position game on touchbacks.
I think it was WGR that they were talking about how if you start your drive before the 30-yard line, your odds of scoring any points in general go down a significant amount than if you're starting at the 35, like a touchback. So it's a good point.
Since the Bills don't have Gabe Davis to go 98 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah. So like it is something that maybe if that they'll start looking at. And also, Sandra, I don't think from what it sounds like the air quality it affects some players, but it shouldn't at least majorly play a factor. And our good news is Josh Allen also played college at the football stadium that has the highest altitude in all of FBS, FCS, college football world.
Are we sure it's FCS?
I'm saying FCS, FBS. It's out of.
I know. Are we sure it's the highest in FCS? I'm genuinely curious because that area of the country is like all the FCS.
At least again, from what WGR said, like multiple times,
according to
over the past few
WGR,
days, because it's been a hot topic.
Disclaimer.
People talking about the air quality is I believe it is.
It could be. It's like 7,200 feet, which is nuts. I was just thinking, like, we got North Dakotas, we got Idaho, we got Montana. It's like, are they?
I think it is by like a good amount too. I think they said like almost 2,000. Unless
Mountaineer Bowl, Western Colorado, 7,771.
Is that theirs? I don't.
No, the University of Wyoming does not play in Western Colorado.
Oh, I thought you. I didn't hear you say. I thought you said Western.
Western Colorado University in Gunnison, Colorado.
That would be the one. 7771.
That's it. I found it here too. Yeah. Google's a beautiful thing. All right. That's about it for us, guys. Again, Big Tree in on Saturday. Come over, get some Murph style wings. If you're in town, I'll be there. We can record some stuff during the game, halftime, before the game. It'll be great fun. We'll post it all over social media. The 250,000+ followers that Built in Buffalo has, you will see your face if you're there, if that's appealing to you. Thank you to 7-1 Slicks, Lancaster Indoor Bounce House, and Wingnuts Buffalo, as well as the Big Tree Inn. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.